Oi, Brasil! Olha eu aqui de novo com mais uma entrevista maravilhosa para vocês. E dessa vez é uma entrevista, como é que eu posso dizer? Ela não é fantasmagórica, ela é uma entrevista cheia de bruxaria. É uma entrevista cheia de magia, porque estamos falando de Abracadabra 2. Sim, o filme está de volta. Depois de quase 30 anos do primeiro Abracadabra, temos as irmãs Sanderson voltando em uma noite de Halloween para achar e comer criancinhas. A vela negra está novamente acesa, trazendo as bruxas irmãs que adoram comer criancinhas. Na sequência, os personagens de Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker e Kathy Najimy voltam a Salem. Dessa vez, elas são convocadas por um novo grupo de meninas que tem simplesmente a missão de fugir das irmãs Sanderson e aproveitar e refazer seus laços de amizade. Então dá só uma olhada no meu papo com Bette Midler e Kathy Najimy, as bruxas de Abracadabra. Abracadabra!
Tenho um presente para as minhas clientes favoritas. A lenda diz que ao fazer 16 anos, a bruxa recebe seus poderes.
Tranquem suas crianças! Sim, Salem, nós voltamos!
Hi, how are you doing? You guys look fabulous.
Thank you. Hi, Bruno.
Bruno, you know you have a name really on trend right now from the Lin-Manuel. Do you know about the animated movie?
Yes, of course, we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. Yeah.
No, but we can talk. You can talk to Bruno right now.
We'll talk to Bruno, not about him.
Yeah. But I want to know, how did you receive the news of a new movie? I hear that it was your idea, is that right?
Why do I always get the shaft here?
It's not the shaft.
Okay,
You're an
yeah,
innovator.
well, that's right,
You're
I'm
a
an
mover,
innovator.
shaker.
No, well,
you had a thought and it
I was under
happened.
the impression, okay. I was under the impression that everybody was on the same page with this, but I did start to say about 10 years after the first picture came out, I did start to say, well, it seems to be, it seems like 10 years after its release, it has legs.
Yes.
And after the second 10 years, which was 20 years now, I started to call my agent and say, gee, it's doing so well. And I mean, what do you call your agent and say 20 years later, gee, I have a hit. So
I still have it.
Totally.
I'm still watching it.
wow, so let's make a sequel. And I kept, I did ask from time to time. And I guess after the studio regime changes and everybody looks at things differently when a new broom comes in to sweep clean. So finally they said it was time. I think because they have Disney Plus, and they need content and they wanted content and they wanted something wholesome. And believe it or not, this picture is very, very wholesome.
Even though there's three witches who eat children.
That's right.
It's very
It's still
wholesome.
wholesome.
Also, I think, that motored a lot of the idea of it, but the public really, when you make a film, you go on to the next one, you don't know how it's going to be received and you have no power over that. You just hope they enjoy it.
That's right.
So we were really a little bit shocked when it left the theaters and came on television and got such a wildly enthusiastic crowd.
Yeah.
And they motored a lot of the ideas.
They actually did. It was the fans.
The fans.
Really, it was the fans. If it hadn't been for the fans, I think we probably still wouldn't have, I'd still be knocking, asking, no, hello, but no, it was the fans that did it.
Yeah, they're
And-
really into it.
And they pushed Halloween along too,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
Halloween phenomenon, I think we really feel like the Halloween phenomenon came from Hocus Pocus. The idea that you would, people have always dressed up, but not
Absolutely.
To the
that-
extent, yeah.
that it's just a madhouse here on
Mhm.
Halloween, here in the United
It's
States.
really interesting to be walking down the street, or I was taking my daughter trick-or-treating when she was younger, and to see people dressed up like me in the movie.
It's so, there was a lot
And
of,
we have a lot of reruns of the movie here in Brazil. I think every year we got to watch the first one. So I want to know, Kathy, did you have to watch the first movie again to get into character and remember Mary manners, the voice, and everything?
Mhm. I had seen it once when it first came out in the theater, and then I think I saw a little bit of it on TV when my daughter was watching it once she hadn't seen it. But I have to say, I wish I was much more Stanislavski about this, but she just came right back to me. She's not very deep It's just the mouth, the adoration of when there's
Don't
not.
tell him your
She
motivation.
doesn't have a very complicated backstory. So no, it was actually absolutely easy. I didn't even think about it, just stepped right into her.
But I imagine that playing a character 30 years later must be like harder, or is it easier?
Well, we're all 30 years older, so it's somewhat harder for a number of reasons. You know, the dancing was strenuous.
Yeah.
It was strenuous, and
Uh-huh.
it was
You were a
COVID.
pro. You knew every single step. The
I
first
well, you
rehearsal,
know, I not every well.
every single step. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Where was I?
Oh, sorry.
That's
I
okay.
interrupted you with an.
You're talking about the dancing
Yeah.
30 years later.
If you're 30 years later, and you worry that your powers, quote unquote, your powers are diminished.
Oh, that's
So you have
interesting.
to kind of watch yourself and, keep your energy, use your energy wisely, because you're 30 years older. You don't hear as well, you don't see as well,
Mhm.
and you're not really.
But it
and
looks fabulous.
all wearing masks. So some of the time you actually couldn't hear what people were saying to you, and you didn't know who anybody was because everybody had a mask on.
Mhm.
In fact, half the people that at the screening last night, they came up to me and said hi, and I said, "And you are?"
Yeah.
Because we were only saw them
Mask,
from the
nose
up.
from the nose up. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, Kathy, I saw an interview of Sarah Jessica saying that it felt really familiar to be together on set. So is there anything that you wanted to do differently this time, playing this character and being together with all the cast?
I was thrilled to be together. I was thrilled to remember a dance step or a line. I was just like
When she
this.
didn't remember, she made it up, and it worked just fine.
And where did I learn that skill?
Well,
from?
yeah.
The School of Midler.
Absolutely. The Midler School of
Midler.
Mugging.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a little bit creaky to start back, into the thing. And then and our set was a little bit challenging. It was a little challenging,
I can imagine.
stones and dirt and
Yeah.
things. But you know what? It's like
We
said,
just hope everybody likes it.
Exactly.
Our hope is for the first of all, the fans
Yeah.
who put us here to that they enjoy it, and that they find the Easter eggs or the little things that are dropped in for their benefit,
Mhm.
and that they see these characters that they love on a new adventure,
Mhm.
going off into the wild blue yonder, so to speak. And who knows and not knowing what's going to happen to them, not seeing the same old thing year after year, but having something new to
New.
see.
Yeah, yeah.
Something new. Yeah, of course.
Something new.
And our
And
director, Ann Fletcher, she really made sure that the nuggets that Bette was talking about, that they were in there, like there was preserved beautiful history moments of the first one that I was delighted to see.
yeah. And Betty, this movie has much more technology from the other one for you guys to fly and cast those wicked spells. So does that make it easier or not?
It was not easier. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go going off the ranch now, and I'm going to say that all the technology has not made anything easier. It has only made everything harder.
Really?
Yes.
Why do you
yes.
think?
Well, because because of the human element.
Right.
When you're working, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this. Off the reservation. That's the expression. I just feel like it's advanced, and people are very excited about it. But I'm an analog person. I just like human beings. I like the things that human beings make. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
No,
It's a
really,
perfectly
because,
sound argument.
I mean, I do.
Kenny Ortega directed the first
I'll tell you
movie.
something. Wait, before I go, I'm only going to talk because I mean, I find blue screen and green screen, it's tough.
It is tough.
Blue screen and green screen, it's just,
Yeah.
doesn't have the
'Cause you're-
same, it doesn't have the same emotional for me.
Yeah, you're
It doesn't-
acting in a fake environment. I mean, it's all fake because it's.
I know,
movies
so
and
your
TV, but
imagination has to
it's-
work overtime,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
a lot of times you're doing scenes with people who aren't there. So you really are just talking to a blue screen. It's a little bit different. It's an adjustment.
it's a big adjustment,
Mhm.
and it's not really a
Okay.
human.
Yeah.
So,
I have to wrap up.
Oh, wait, say your last
Bruno,
question.
you say your line.
No, he was going to ask me one last question. You said.
Yeah, okay. I was asking, Kenny Ortega directed the first one, and I have Annie Fletcher directing. So how was working with her? What she brought to the show?
I love Anne. I've done like 4 or 5 films with Anne, and she is so constant. She doesn't flux up and down. She doesn't get angry. She had a lot of challenges on this. Always just like very steady,
Unflappable.
unflappable.
Steady.
And she's a choreographer too, so the film has a real movement to it.
Ah, gente, que maravilhoso esse filme que marcou as nossas vidas, não é? Pois é, a Sarah Jessica Parker era para participar da entrevista, porém ela teve um problema familiar na data e não pôde comparecer. Espero em breve ter nosso encontro, Sarah Jessica, talvez para falar sobre Just Like That de Carrie Bradshaw. Quem sabe? Olha, Abracadabra 2 já está na sua Disney Plus. É só você dar o seu streaming, depois você me conta o que você achou. Se você está assistindo no YouTube, não esquece de ativar o sininho, comentar e compartilhar. Está vendo no IGTV? Deixe seu comentário e compartilhe. Beijos! Até a próxima! Abracadabra! Pé de cabra? Era pé de cabra?
Tranquem suas crianças! Sim, Salem, nós voltamos!
Ih, são as irmãs Sanderson. Aposto que estão procurando pau.
Sempre.